And good evening and welcome to Travel Talk with Lorie. And I have a very, very special guest tonight from Globus Family of Brands, Mr. Kelley. How are you tonight?
I'm doing terrific. So good to see you.
So good to see you too. Actually, to have you in the studio.
In person.
This is a landmark day. Because normally we have you on the phone.
I know. Me being all the way to Atlanta and you being all the way over here in Rocky Mount, it's nice to be in Rocky Mount today.
It is. So we just saw a video about choice touring. Tell us a little bit about what choice touring is.
Well, I guess the start of the story is over the past year, we haven't been sitting back and just waiting for the COVID to kind of to fade away. We've been developing new products, and choice touring is one of those products. What's unique about choice touring, it's kind of a combination of escorted touring and independent travel. If you're on a normal escorted tour, what happens is you get to a destination, everybody has that park or site or place to see, and everybody goes and enjoys that. With choice touring, what we've done is we now give a variety of choices in a particular destination. So everybody that's doing the tour doesn't have to do the same excursion, which really gives people more options. We did a survey and we found out that customers that have been on a escorted tour want to be able to see all these wonderful places, but they also want some freedom to be able to do some different things. So we've implemented this new program where you have those different choices to choose when you get to that destination, and that really gives our customers a lot more freedom to decide what they want to do. For instance, there's one tour in Italy where you can go see the oldest their highest man-made waterfall in the world, built by the Romans, or you can do a day trip on a bike around the city and see all the sights there. But the third choice that you have is to go on a truffle hunt with beagles. I thought that's really unique. So to go look for truffles with beagles. So those would be the three choices in that one city. So on a normal tour, we have about 2 or 3 days where you have multiple excursions that you can choose from, which is really unique in the industry. No one is doing this type of travel right now in the industry.
And does that mean you've got smaller groups because everybody's getting to do their choice?
No, we're still running some of our standard tours, the size-wise, and it's just when the people end up going to that destination, not everybody is doing the same thing. So it does give you choice to do the different options, but we do have tours outside of choice touring where we have small group discoveries, and we've kind of implemented that with COVID and social distancing, that we do have smaller groups that we can do now, limited at 26 passengers. We also have private touring that we have in Europe, so if you could take any of our tours, and we have over 500 vacations worldwide, but the ability to do a private tour, you have a group of 16 or 15 or something like that, you want to do your own tour, we can now do that in Europe with some of our existing tours. So that's become popular too over the course of the last year.
And I can imagine, yep. But now, of course, to me, being on that tour bus with it full of people would be the ideal environment for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because everybody is excited about going to this destination, and you share those stories. You build really great friendships. Our tour guide, our motor coach driver, they take care of all the details. You don't have to worry about anything. I always tell the story about couples driving, and she says, "Oh, did you see that beautiful castle on the hill?" And no, he was driving. He didn't have a chance to see it. He didn't see the castle. So now, when you're doing an escorted tour, you have a chance to really enjoy the vacation and be able to see all the sights and leave all the logistics and transportation to us.
Now, you get VIP access to all these tours.
Oh, that's probably the most important aspect of it too. I should have mentioned that. But being able to not wait. For instance, if you're at the Coliseum and there's 2 or 3 hour wait to get into the Coliseum, now you get right up to the front of the line. What this does is gets you in, gives you the opportunity to visit the site, enjoy that beautiful destination, take your pictures, then you're on to the next must-see site. And I think what happens is a lot of people, the misconception is with escorted touring is that all their time is taken. And by being able to get into a destination, enjoy it, and get out, you have a lot more opportunities to have free time, see more destinations and more sites.
Now, there's one thing that Globus still includes is the picking up my luggage outside my hotel room door and putting it on the motor coach.
We do. When you bring your luggage on the trip, we'll sanitize it before it goes onto the motor coach. You get off the motor coach, and this has always been the case, but it's even become more important with fewer touch points. The luggage handlers will take it up to the room, put it in the room for you. You'll also have all your room keys are given out by your tour guide, so not everybody's waiting in the counter. Or if you're trying to get into one of those vacation sites, we have tickets to get in. So again, you're not waiting in line. You're in, you're out, and that helps with our protocols and all the things that we're aware of now. But taking care of your luggage, all you have to do is put it out in the mornings, and it will be on the motor coach ready to go.
Yeah, that's my kind of vacation right there. I think about that, how I would be spoiled with that. Now, some of the meals are included, but for the meals that are not, you always have somebody that can say, you need to eat here versus here.
Correct.
There's somebody there to steer our clients.
Well, that's what the tour guide's there for too. They're so knowledgeable. They bring the destination to life. They know all the ins and outs, the history, the unique stories, and they know all the local restaurants. Now, we have breakfast is included each day. There are lots of meals that are included, but we don't want to include meals every single night. We want people to go out, and people also want to go out and explore and find different restaurants, and that tour guide can certainly point you in the right direction and make sure you fulfill what you're trying to do on your vacation.
And there's also some optional entertainment at night where you can do like what I call dinner and a show, but I know it's a lot different in Europe, but that's kind of what I call it. There's a lot of those options also when you're on there.
We have a lot of included features with all of our brands, but there are optional excursions, and we notify you of those before you go. So if there's something that really stands out, like seeing the Moulin Rouge in Paris, that's something a lot of people want to do. It's a very unique show right there in Paris, and we make those available, different things. And if it's something you're really interested in doing, we always recommend signing up as soon as possible to get that, because if it is popular to you, more than likely it's popular to a lot of the other folks that are going. Again, a lot of included features, but then there are a lot of optional ones there too, that if you want to take advantage of those, you can do that also.
Well, I think having time on your own too is really important, and you guys allow that. But I also like to know that there are options I can do.
Exactly.
Like when we go to Ireland, I'm going to want to eat in every castle I can.
Well, we don't take all your time and plan all your time. I mean, we want you to be able to tweak your own vacation and add the items that you want to add to the program.
But I think, because most of my clients have also mentioned this, knowing that you can do what you want to do, that you're going to get in priority, that will give you that time to do the other things you want to do and wander around your own, is really good. Mm-hmm. And I know from experience, I've done short excursions off cruise lines, that sometimes you don't get to do everything you want to do. That sometimes by the time you get there, the lines are just too long. Mm-hmm. We were in the Mediterranean. I kept seeing Globus and Cosmos motor coaches, and I kept saying, if we were them, we'd be front of the line. And I gave out a ton of cards on the excursion.
Yeah,
because
that's
I kept saying, this one lady said, let me write that name down so I'll remember this. But
well,
yes.
to touch base on that, Globus has been around since 1928, so we're 93 years old. We have 4 brands under our umbrella. 2 escorted. Globus is first class escorted. Cosmos is our budget escorted. Monograms is our independent travel program. And then Avalon Waterways is our river cruise product. So under our umbrella, we have just, like I said, over 500 different vacations. So we do a lot, we offer a lot, and we can scratch a lot of itches, so to speak, depending on where people want to go around the globe.
So let's talk about Avalon for a minute. So now when you're on an Avalon River Cruise, how many people are on that river cruise ship compared to
we have cruise? In Europe, we have over 100 different itineraries. We have 16 ships in Europe. We have 2 size ships, and the ships in Europe are really based on the size of the locks. 330 feet and 440 feet long, and they're all 38 feet wide, so they're standardized because of the locks. On their larger ships, 166 passengers. Our smaller vessels, mainly in France, are 128 passengers. So they're not mega ships. We have very large cabins on Avalon, which is one of the hallmarks of our product, and by having larger cabins, you have fewer passengers on board.
And you're talking about those panorama suites, which is my favorite. Mm-hmm. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's my cabin. Okay.
Yeah, we've really been lucky with that cabin design many years ago. We've been rated #1 cabins in river cruising 4 years in a row. We designed these cabins that don't have balconies on them, but what we did is made the cabins larger, make a whole wall of glass. And then those sliding glass doors open up, and the bed faces the view. We angle it towards the view, gives us a larger bathroom space. Continues to be really some of the nicest cabins afloat in river cruising.
Yeah, I'm definitely in love with it. And come March, I'll be in my panorama suite.
On the Tulip Time cruise you're going on, yeah.
Yes, and we're doing that with the Rocky Mountain Chamber Tulip Time cruise, and that's going to be so amazing to see all the tulips and the windmills. I'm looking forward to the chocolate and the cheese too, but of course I'm that food person. Out there, they all know I'm going to bring the food in at some point in time. So we're going to take a little commercial break, and we're going to see what an Avalon Waterways river cruise ship looks like, and then we'll be back. And I could have been there in that cabin already. When I see it, I'm like, that's my cabin. Yes, right there.
It's wonderful. I think when you had a chance to kind of view that video there, you see how many scenes were from the cabin with those sliding glass doors opened up, that ability to sit there and enjoy a nice cup of coffee in the morning throughout your cruise. Now, the one thing about that lovely cabin is you only see one side of the river, so if it's really nice, we have this gorgeous top deck that has all these wonderful loungers, and it's a great way to see, both sides of the river. Of course, if the weather's nice, it's where you'll be anyway. And on occasion, if the weather's nice, we'll be doing the outdoor brunches on board, and we serve complimentary beer and wine at lunch and dinner, champagne at breakfast, or sparkling wine if it's not in France. But the ability to kind of get up and enjoy all the beautiful views while you're on the top deck. And then you're going to stop at these wonderful towns along the way, and depending on what itinerary you're at, it's just remarkable. You get off with 160 people versus maybe on a larger cruise ship, 1,000. So it makes for a little bit of a different experience. The rivers of Europe were always the highways. That's how people got around Europe back, over the centuries. And it still gives you that ability to dock right there and walk right into those wonderful little towns. And
Now,
enjoy it.
if they don't want to do a river cruise, you have so many options for tours between the three brands, between Globus, Cosmos, and Monograms. There's so many options to tour, not only in Europe, but here in the United States, because you have some great tours here with...
Well, that's absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up, because certainly over the last year and a half, 2 years, with COVID happening, a lot of people aren't traveling abroad, but we have such a strong presence here in the U.S. We're the only tour operator that partners with the National Park Foundation, which is a real feather in our cap. We started that in 2015. They were looking for a tour operator to partner with to kind of help promote the national parks. We were lucky they chose us, and it really was timely because of the centennial in 2016 for the national parks. But as we rolled into last year and then this year, we started our Undiscovered series, and we should talk about that for just a quick second at some point. But it was a continuing program where we were focusing on the national parks and a lot of the different ones we do, from the Northeast to Quebec, with obviously some Canada programs if we could do that. But we were doing some Northeast programs. We were doing some ones in California, the national parks, a lot of the canyon lands. So as we started to open up before Europe did, we really were focusing in here domestically on our local programs, and it was very, very successful for us at that point.
Now, you have some undiscovered tours here in the U.S. now, as well as in Europe.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you how that rolled out. Being a worldwide company, one of the destinations that's very, very popular for us was Italy. And Italy was down in 2015, so we wanted to say, how can we spice Italy up? So what we did with our new Undiscovered series, we went to all these little towns in Italy that a lot of the other tour companies weren't going to. A lot of times people said, oh, I've been to Italy. That's Rome, Florence, and Venice. Everybody's kind of been to the big three. But there's so many areas of Italy that are spectacular, from the Apulia region, which is the Hill of the Boot, Sicily, the Amalfi Coast, Tuscany, the Lake District. So we added all these different cities. It really was a brilliant idea on our part, because it really increased our business to Italy, and it made awareness of all the different cities outside the main areas of Italy. So we said, well, gosh, let's keep this going. So that was Off the Beaten Piazza was the name of that program for Italy. Then we decided to do it in Great Britain, which was Take the Cobblestones Less Traveled. Again, very successful. And as we rolled out for 2020, it was going to be the Undiscovered Mediterranean. Well, we know how last year not a lot of travel happened, but that was going to be in Greece and land and the eastern shore of the Adriatic, Croatia. Again, not a very successful year last year, but we continued that program. Already on the back burner, we were talking about Undiscovered North America. And boy, was that timely. It seemed like we were really, really smart in developing that program ahead of time, and it really paid off this year with people taking advantage of some of our new programs that we have. We have one that does Lexington, Kentucky, all the way down to Nashville, and you go through Asheville, North Carolina, with a lot of its microbreweries. Have a chance to get through Chattanooga, and then work your way up to Nashville. That's one of the new tours that we added for that. It's been very, very popular. So focusing in on the U.S. certainly has been benefited us, and people that wanted to travel, that couldn't travel abroad, could still be able to stay close to home.
And you have one in the fall of the year, your classic fall foliage up to Boston and Maine. I have a group forming for that one now. And I think that's going to be a great one, because we're going to ride Amtrak up to Boston. Then
Oh, that's fun. That'll be a fun trip.
Yeah, we'll get on the motor coach, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see like Vermont and Maine and even the Boston area turning with the fall.
All the history of the Boston area. There's so much to see and do there. But as you get into some of the other states north of there, just the colors. The mountains, the Smoky Mountains are absolutely gorgeous, but you get to different parts of the country, the Northeast, and even when you get out west with the aspens, and I think it's a great time of year to go, and a lot of people want to do fall foliage up in that part of the year. Go do a maple syrup tasting, and just see all the different things. Do little bay cruises that you get a chance to go out and do some maybe whale watching, or see some of the wildlife, but a great time to visit that part of the country.
And eat lobster in Maine. Okay, I can tell you about the food.
Lobster in Maine. That's a good choice.
I can tell you about the lobster in Maine. Okay, yes. See, food. Well, you have one out. Of course, you do a lot out west. Washington State, Oregon, California, Northern California, all across to Lake Tahoe. There's not probably one of those I don't want to do.
Yeah, again, they tie in so well with our Undiscovered North America series. We added some ones out west, and there's a lot of California, and a lot of the ones with we do the Grand Canyon. Of course, we do some that go through the Dakotas, go up to Rushmore, the Little Bighorn Battlefield, Arches Canyon, just so many different national parks we get into. And because of our affiliation with the National Park Foundation, it really gives us sometimes some nice lodging options that we can take advantage of, and just the ability to be out there in those national parks is really a great experience. I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of people, they're crowded right now. It's hard to get into some of the national parks, and because of that affiliation, we have the ability to get in when some other folks can't.
And I've had travelers that went out to Yellowstone with Globus, and they were just amazed at how much they saw and how much they did, and some of the little restaurants they stopped them at to eat, as well as the lodges they stayed at in Yellowstone. They were really.
And the tour guides know just so much history and the stories that bring the destination alive. They are a wealth of knowledge, and I couldn't be prouder than those. They average 20 years with us, and the tour guide takes care of all the details. But between him and the motor coach driver, those guys make it happen, and you don't have to worry about anything other than enjoying yourself and loading your camera up.
Now, you've got one of the historic trains of the Old West. That's a very interesting one, besides the Albuquerque Balloon Festival.
It is. It's one of the tours, especially for train aficionados, somebody who's a train buff. That historic trains, it does 3 different narrow gauge rail trips along that itinerary down in New Mexico, and then you can tie it into the Albuquerque Balloon Festival if you'd like, so you can do that as a combination. Certainly on my list. You were telling me earlier you had a chance to kind of see the balloons on occasion, and it looks like a fantastic experience. And when they talk about balloon festivals, the Albuquerque one's always one of the tops in the world.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, me and my husband were truck drivers, and we actually have driven through on Interstate 40 and seen them in the air.
Wow.
And it's just amazing. Okay, of course you can't stop. You're moving on through, but it's just amazing to see those balloons in the air.
A good combination of different tours. We do a lot of specialty tours, Albuquerque Balloon Festival being one, but the Rose Bowl Parade, the Calgary Balloon Festival, even Elvis's birthday. You would think that would be, but the English are huge fans of Elvis, and they'll take 6 motor coaches to Memphis just for Elvis's birthday. So we do a lot of those unique yearly events that we add to the calendar.
Well, this has been fun tonight talking with you, Mr. Eric from Globus. It's been exciting. And now it makes me want to travel somewhere right now.
Me too.
So we're going to end tonight's show with seeing some of those Globus and Cosmos Undiscovered tours. We're going to see that, and then we'll be back next week with Travel Talk with Lorie. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Like I said, it's been fun, and we'll be back next week to talk more travel.
Do you remember the joys of hide and seek? The anticipation of peering around corners? The intrigue of an unfamiliar path? The thrill of finding that secret spot? Those shrieks of delight, the pure sweetness of discovery, they can all be had again when you seek out the hidden treasures of the world. The towns with no traffic, the coasts with no crowds, the nooks with no noise. Away from the trodden, the congested, and the expected, we invite you to put down the guidebooks and pick up an accent instead. To trade the lines for limoncello and the chaos for the catch of the day. Traveling from cliffs to caverns and volcanoes to valleys, you'll find secluded shores, sun-washed cities, and moonlit bays. Places to delve into the stories of mythical heroes or take in the wonder of living art. Paths to walk in the footsteps of poets or jump in the footsteps of Olympians. Waters to dip your toe in the past or make a grand splash right now. From the colorful parks of Croatia to the whitewashed isles of Greece, the villages and vineyards of Italy to the majestic mountains of the United States. Our undiscovered itineraries go where other tour operators don't and allow you to spend days where cruise ships only spend hours. We lead you off the beaten piazzas and down the cobblestones less traveled to discover the unspoiled, the unexpected, the unchanged, and the unsolved. The wonders of the world are hiding. It's time to open your eyes and go find them. Discover the undiscovered with Globus and Cosmos.